Þá Dabfils mættir í Mekka körfuboltans í New York, djúpt í Chinatown. Við ætlum að fara niður í Madison Square Garden þar sem við ætlum að covera leik New York Knicks og Cleveland Cavaliers. Þar sem við ætlum að reyna að ná nokkrum viðtölum fyrir leik við bæði leikmenn og þjálfara. Kíkja inn í klefana, leyfa okkar mönnum sem hafa áhuga á að sjá inn í þá veröld sem að leikmenn fara í fyrir leik og reyna að gefa smá hugmynd af því hvernig það er að mæta leik í Madison Square Garden. Það er margt sem við Dabmenn leggjum á okkur til þess að geta mætt hérna til Ameríku að fjalla með NBA-leikinn. Hér erum við 3 í þessu herbyggi, þannig að við þurfum 2 að vera hér í þessu rúmi í nótt og við ætlum að kenna ykkur smá ráð til þess að það sé engin misskilningur eins og stundum vill verða þegar 2 deila rúmi, sérstaklega á köldum nóttum eins og hérna í New York í desember. Þá eru þessi skrautpúðar hérna notaðir til þess að skipta hérna á milli og ekki nóg með það að þeir séu bara góður til þess að skipta á milli, heldur þetta að grípa í það og svo maður grípi nú ekki í tómt þegar maður saknar fjölskyldunar. Við stöndum hérna á hafninu á 7. og 31. ætlum að rölta hérna yfir götuna sem við ætlum að fara og ná í blaðamannapassan okkar í Madison Square Garden. Við ætlum að reyna að gera okkar allra besta til þess að ná góðu efni fyrir aðdáendur NBA á Íslandi og reyna að hafa áhrif á það hvaða spurningar koma fram svo að sé eitthvað vitrænt og skemmtilegt efni sem hægt verður að horfa á. Það var uppselt á hana leik rétt eins og síðustu 182 leiki þar á undan. Dabfilms fengu úthlutaðan bás á milli ESPN og Fox Sports þar sem við undirbyggum okkur fyrir viðtal við David Blatt. How's the preparation for the game tonight been?
Well, we had a day and a half, which was pretty good. Unusual in the NBA season. We've played the Knicks before, and you know, we had a chance to get inside some things that obviously will be important for the game.
Derek is saying you're a different team than the last time they played, that you're more getting out on transition, getting the quick basket, less of a half-court team. Do you agree with that analysis?
You know, the first game was a really funny kind of game for our team. You know, it was opening night with an awful lot going on, a huge build-up, and it was a tough game for us to play. And the Knicks played particularly well that night. I'd agree with them that we're certainly a different team than we were that night. I don't know if we're a different team overall than we were. We just, you know, we had a particularly poor night and a tough time, and they made it tough for us. There's a lot to learn here. I've been a head coach for 20 some odd years, and you know, and every experience is different and every place is different. Certainly the NBA has many particular characteristics and nuances. I don't know that the game is so different as much as as all that goes around, and as many of the rules are different. You know, length of the game and rules within the game, the severity, I would call it, of the season. You know, it's a compacted season of 82 games, and over there we would play close to 80 games, but not in such a short period of time. And you have to learn to manage that and make that part of your process and part of your planning. There's a lot of things, you know, and you know, obviously I'm still very much in it, but I feel like we're getting around to where we need to be, and so am I.
Is it harder or easier as a coach to tell a transcendent superstar what you expect from them?
Oh, I would imagine that depends on who the transcendent superstar is, you know. So I don't know if you're talking
like LeBron.
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you, LeBron is one of the smartest players I've ever seen, and certainly I've ever coached. He knows and understands the game of basketball, and you know, he listens and wants to be coached, but you know, you have to know what you're talking about, and that's more than reasonable, I think.
People have such high expectations for his team. It seems like as soon as you win 2 in a row, people say, okay, they got it, they're on their way. Now that it's 4 in a row. Is that the case? You guys have got it and you're on your way?
I think we're still very much a work in progress. We're getting better. There have been some good stretches and some less good ones. You know, that's obvious to all. But you know, I think we're getting around to where we need to be, and hopefully we can continue the kind of consistency we had in the last week or 8 or 9 days.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll stay right here.
Bring Fred in right there.
We'll stay right here, coach.
We'll bring Fred right there. Já, hérna erum við að labba inn í búningsklefan hjá Cleveland fyrir leik. Við erum að hlusta á nokkuð góð lög. Allir í góðum fíling. Við ætlum að reyna að ná samtali við eitthvað sem köpum eða gefa sig í það. Sjáum hver stjórnar græjunum hérna í klefanum. Það ríkti mikil eftirvænting í klefanum fyrir því að LeBron léti sjá sig, en þetta varð hálf pínlegt þegar í ljós kom að kóngurinn ætlaði ekki að veita viðtöl fyrir leik. Eftir stóðu á 4. tug íþróttafréttamanna að horfa á og mæla út þann stóra og myndi þetta eiginlega helst á góða hrútasýningu í Skagafirði. Þá það hringstofa New York Knicks. Það hrikaleg stemning, eins og við sjáum inn í klefanum. Það væsir ekki mennina hérna. Sjáum að eru leikmenn með tölvulás á skápunum sínum. Það væntanlega skiptur lás í hvert skipti sem menn eru treytaðir. Það gefur ekki eftir númerið sitt svo auðvitað, gerir ráð fyrir. Þeir eru með nokkra lykla hérna uppi á borðinu, hvað þeir ætla að gera. Við sjáum það að númer 1 að spila vörn á hraðaplaup Clevelands. Pikku mennina sína, stíg út, verða frákvistinn. Þetta svo talandi mínu hjarta.
My main focus, has been since I come here, is to anchor the paint and anchor the defense, and I do my best, every time I go step on the floor, for the time I'm there, to make sure that there's not as much penetration inside.
Samuel Dalembert veitti okkur fínt viðtal, en við nennum ekki að hlusta á það þar sem hann var rekinn daginn fyrir lélega frammistöðu. Það sjáum við nýja leið til að hita upp. Sotomayor að undirbúa sig fyrir leikinn með þrýsti búnaði og ég ger ráð fyrir því að það sé einhver heitur ylur kannski sem að fylgi með. Já, við erum búin að klára nokkur æsispennandi viðtöl við leikmenn liðana í búningsklefanum og löpum inn hérna sama inngang og New York Knicks liðið gerir. Þetta gaman að sjá, við löpum inn í Madison Square Garden og sjáum hérna á gólfinu. Hérna sjáum við Sean Marion taka nokkuð skot. Þetta náttúrulega, þetta ekki skotið sem hægt að mæla með. En þetta áhrifaríkt. Við erum búin að setja á nokkra röð. Það eins og menn segja, það ekki öll blóm eins. Við rákum þá stjörnurnar Mr. Big Shot Billups og hinn harðbrúða Donald Trump, en þrátt fyrir heiðarlega tilraunin voru þeir ekki tilbúnir að veita okkur viðtöl á kameru. En við hittum hins vegar nokkra hressa kappa frá Connecticut. So, do you live here in New York?
No, we live in Connecticut. I like the Knicks, but I'm here because I got to see LeBron before I die.
Yep. So, which team are you rooting for?
The Cavs.
Cavs, clearly.
So you're not afraid to stand here in the Lions den?
No, I actually like it.
Okay.
Madison Square Garden yelling at you.
He enjoys it.
Can you feel their eyes on you?
Sometimes, yeah. Especially when you're walking in.
Hopefully we don't get any thrown at us, so.
Okay. It didn't go very well last time those teams met, did it?
No, it did.
No.
Not even a little bit. I'm pretty sure the Cavs got blown out.
Yeah, they did.
Do you expect the same thing to happen tonight?
No.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Did you come all the way from Cleveland to watch the game, or do you live here in New York?
Nope, I live in New York.
New York.
So you're not New Yorkers, or?
We are New Yorkers, we just like the Cavs.
We're just not real New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Okay. Þeir eru konir baksviðs eins og okkur finnst gaman að skoða. Hérna varakarfan ef að kóngurinn skildi brjóta körfuna og hérna vera að fara yfir vörnina, sjáum við. What's going on here?
We're with a group from Australia and we're going down to gonna make a banner for the guys to run out, or a tunnel for the guys to run out onto the court. So yeah, we're all pretty excited about it.
You play basketball?
Yeah, I played basketball over in Melbourne.
And what's your goal here tonight?
Hopefully we get to see the players come out. Yeah, it's already an amazing experience coming back here. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Já, eins og maðurinn sagði, þá verður maður að haga sér eins og innfættur þegar maður mættur leik. Þannig að við strákarnir þurfum að vöka okkur eins og öll hinn blómin. How much is it? Ja, þá erum við mættir hérna í uppbyturina. Það er gaman að vera komin hingað og fá að upplifa nándina. Við getum alla alvöru áhugamenn NBA að koma og kíkja við í leik ef þeir geta það og svo er bara að trana sig fram. Það er bara það sem að gildir. Tjekkum aðeins á þessum strákum. Þarna sjáum við aðalmanninn Carmelo Anthony. Hey Carmelo! Are we gonna see some dunks tonight? Það var móður eftir að hafa gengið upp 750 tröppur. En við erum konir hérna, ætlum að höfra yfir leiknum í kvöld. Eins og þið sjáið þá erum við eins og vanalega settir lengst upp í rjáfur. Og ef það fellur út ljósapera þá getum við skipt hana. Það var vel okkur á sérmerkta bástum okkar, DAF Films frá Ísrael. En það var ekki hægt að kvarta yfir útsýninu.
Calderon, and here's Stoudemire. Oh, it's Stoudemire. Getting off to the Harry got a piece of it, lands up the hands of
Carmelo stóð við lofarið og tróð fyrir okkur. Leikurinn var hinn besta skemmtun og Tim Hardaway Jr. átti stórleik fyrir New York, en á hinum endanum var Kyrie Irving óstöðvandi.
Losing on Calderon, not allowing the three. Smith gets one off and hits with the shot clock at one. Pretty darn good. Oh, Gallagher left wide open. How about shot clock to 5? Irving, 4-3. Yes. He has struggled mightily with this shot here in this game. That counts as a foul. What a move by Kyrie Irving. Miami has yet to play, so it makes it a little more difficult for Carmelo. Oh, another gorgeous move by Irving. Tonight, and that's why they're in the lead. James to the rim. That is vintage LeBron James. 3 of those 4 misses by James. Oh, Stoudemire, who has played very well, able to put it down. Sit in. James with a deep 3. Yes! LeBron James. That here.
Hér eru 15 sekúndur eftir og Cleveland einu stig yfir. Kyrie Irving með boltan.
Shot clock down to 5. Crossover by Irving. Here's the shot off glass. Kyrie Irving with 37 points. Added to his season high. The Cavs now lead by 3.
He turned down the screen that was being set at the top of the circle. He went to his left hand. Watch this finish.
And you know why that works, though. LeBron James empties out. There's no help on that weak side for him, and he read the play beautifully. How about that left-handed teardrop off the glass?
New York átti boltan þegar 10 sekúndur voru eftir. Allir áhorfendur voru staðnir á fætur. Carmelo Anthony fekk boltan og LeBron var til varnar.
Putting those on James, takes the 3 for the tie. Well after the follow-on, and again a very tough loss for the Knicks.
Eftir leikinn var farið á blaðamannafund.
Derek, the possession before Carmelo takes the 3 at the end, was that the shot you wanted, Shane on the runner?
I mean, I wish I could predict what kind of shot we're going to get every time down, but I don't know if we can get a better shot than that from anybody, you know. Attacking the rim, you know, floater right there, goes in and out. You know, those are plays that you can go to sleep and know that, you know, you had a good opportunity to get the lead there. No guarantee we would have won the game, but I think that was a good enough shot off of that possession.
Coach, talk about Quincy's defense on Kevin. Like he was able to neutralize him throughout the game, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think Quincy did a really good job, you know, just competing Kevin's a phenomenal player, and tonight Kyrie had it going, so they probably didn't go to him as much. But I do think Quincy, has an ability to use his activity to impact guys, and that's why we decided to go with the starting lineup and have him out there the way we did tonight. And he put a great effort out there on both ends of the floor.
Hér má sjá örtröðuna sem myndaðist fyrir utan búningsklefa Cleveland eftir leikinn.
You went to the hole with the left hand and walk us through that one.
No, coach did a great job of drawing up a play, and my teammates trust me enough, and the coaching staff trust me enough to clear out one side and give me a chance to get the best shot possible for our team and make a play. And I'm just thankful that they gave me, they instilled that confidence in me. I had the ball at the end of the game.
Did you really sense that the offense needed some of your juice scoring-wise tonight?
I mean, it was just, we weren't getting stops when we needed to. At different times in the games, we had defensive lulls, and for me, it was just about quick attacking and getting the ball in transition and trying to screen for guys and trying to get guys open. And when my number was called, just be ready to shoot. And Bron did a heck of a job tonight of just finding me and setting great ball screens for me, and Andy and Tristan and everybody just kept feeding me. I felt like I was in great rhythm there.
Before the last time out, it looked like you wanted to go. It looked like you didn't want that time out.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I saw the shot clock, and it's just me and Coach Blatt, and the rest of the team, and I let it go real quick. I was, because it was time and situation. Don't have time to get in my feelings or anything like that. I trust him 100%. I saw something different out there, but it's just part of the game. And he called timeout, drew up a heck of a play, trusted me with the ball at the end of the game, and we're just getting used to one another, and as well as all of us. So
5 straight wins now. You feel the team's starting to gel?
There's a lot of things that we still have to correct. We just have to become more consistent on the defensive end. But every single night we're trying to give ourselves a chance to win at the end of the game, and we got down, but we didn't get down on ourselves. When we get down on each other in the beginning of the season, I think that would have happened where they have a 10-point lead or 8-point lead, and emotions get the best of us. But we have such great veterans that are used to, or not used to winning, but they know how to win, and they're teaching all the young guys on this team, including myself, how to win and how to lead each other and trust each other in those tight situations.
What are you learning about them?
It's just one of the staples that I'm gonna keep preaching is just doing whatever it takes. Sean Marion comes up with a heck of a rebound at the end of the game, and we have Andy pressuring the ball where we get an 8-second call, and plays like that don't show up in the stat sheet necessarily for us, but we commend all those guys. We're going to do whatever it takes, and we trust each other, down the stretch and throughout the whole entire game. But for us, it's just about finding a consistent rhythm on the defensive end and trusting one another.
You had a hot shooting night, but the way you scored, you had split moves, you had reverse layups. Did the Garden stage bring anything out of your game tonight?
No, I mean, obviously when you come to Madison Square Garden, it's a special place. But for me, it was just about staying focused and doing whatever it took to win the game. And, we won ugly tonight, and it was one of those games where the only thing that we're going to remember about this is getting the W, But, for us going forward, just got to watch film and continue to get better and, go from there.
Do you like playing here, Con?
I mean, it's the Garden, man. I mean, it's just any time we get on the road and, necessarily the other team doesn't get to see you play there often. I mean, it's a chance for you to showcase your stuff and, for us to get a win and for us to grow as a team and for us to bond more. I mean, these road trips are really important for us in the process of getting closer as teammates and trusting one another. And I believe that it'll translate out there on the court. Yep.
Kyrie, after 1 month playing with LeBron, what have you learned?
I mean, he's just a true student of the game, and he's a true natural-born leader. I mean, he's been doing it for so long, and he's still so young, he still has, his potential is still, amazingly high, and, that's scary to say. I mean, he's continuing to get better every single day and, teaching not only me, but all these young guys how to win and how to lead.
Alrighty, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Eftir nokkra bið mætti kóngurinn sjálfur. Hann var eins og blanda af Django og herra Heisenberg, þvílíkur töffari. Ég náði einni spurningu inn.
5 straight wins, you feel things are coming together now?
We just got to continue to get better.
You know, it's a process for us. We're a young group as far as our experience together, and we just want to continue to improve.
Talk about Kyrie's performance and what he gave you all tonight.
Spectacular. Anytime we needed a bucket, he made it. Anytime we needed some energy, he gave it. I took over the point guard duties as far as getting guys involved, and he took over the scoring.
As well.
And we needed it.
When did you decide to take over the point guard duties? Is that pre-planned or doing?
No, I wasn't pre-planned. Just, you know, like I said, every game has its own challenges. You know, you read the game. I read the game. I see Kyrie had it going. So, you know, you feed the high hand, and I make sure everyone else stay involved.
Talk about your defensive effort in the second half. It was pretty amazing.
In order for us to be great, we have to defend, and we've been doing that for the last couple of weeks.
Did you enjoy the challenge of guarding Carmelo?
I always enjoy it. You know, I take just as much pride on the defensive end as I do on the offensive end, and you know, to be able to guard one of the great scorers that we have in our game today is always a pleasure.
Kyrie had to go. Do you think that you were aggressive enough on the offensive end?
Nah, I mean, I make some, as far as aggressiveness, I wasn't as aggressive as I wanted to be, or I should have been, and you know, I can always be satisfied with myself when I'm making mistakes and I'm being aggressive. A couple of my turnovers in the third quarter, I was just being too passive, still trying to get guys involved, and I still need to be aggressive. In the fourth quarter, got to go in a little bit. I was able to make a couple shots, got a breakaway dunk, hit a jumper, hit a three. You know, so it's whatever. You know, for me, even I felt out of rhythm. I feel like I didn't play a great game, and you know, and then my teammates come to me and said, you know, whatever my numbers were, I didn't feel it. But you know, to be able to make an impact when you're not feeling as great or great in the rhythm is always key.
You seem to pay attention to guys throughout the league, but now that you've been a teammate of Kyrie's day in, day out, are there things that he does that you didn't even know he was capable of?
Well, I always knew he was a great finisher. I think he's even better than what I thought. As far as finishing around the rim, he's probably one of the greatest this game has ever seen. And I've never seen someone finish how he finished underneath the rim. It's unbelievable from both ends. I mean, you know, the last play to put us up 3, he went, you know, right to left crossover, and most guys would gather, you know, with 2 hands before they go up for the shot. He just scooped it and shot it with the left. It's not many guys see do that. You know, I think he's one of, Steve Nash is one of those guys. I think Steph Curry does it sometimes with both hands. Even in our last game at home, you know, when he got the and one late in the game, you know, he went, you know, to the left and then brought it back to the right and just put a little spin on the rim, on the backboard, and for the and one, I mean, he's unbelievable.
One of the questions at the start of the season was how was he going to adjust to not playing with the ball in his hands? Are you surprised at how well he's made that adjustment?
No, winning changes everything. If you want to win, you sacrifice. That's all it's about, you know. They had the same questions about myself and D-Wade when I went to Miami in 2010. That was how we were going to play because we were so dominant, ball dominant. We figured out went to winning 2 championships, went to 4 straight finals. So obviously we figured it out. So it's not a problem. It's not a problem when you want to be a really good team. When you want to win, you sacrifice whatever it takes for the team to win.
It's the last shot that comes out.
Yeah.
You just run through that like what?
Well, I mean, the shot clock was going down, the game clock was going down. I knew he was going to take the shot. I just tried to get him out of rhythm. I jabbed at the ball a couple of times, not trying to steal, but just get him to get out of rhythm. And the last thing I wanted to do was contest the shot. Even though I'm supposed to contest every shot, I didn't even want to put it into the ref's mind. I got too close or anything. So it's a make or miss league. He's made that shot plenty of times. I've watched games where he's made it. In Cleveland's first game of the season, he made one right on me on the left baseline across from our bench. I contested that one, so maybe I need not contest. So, you know, it's a make or miss league.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Before this current hot streak, did you talk to Steve about your struggles when you first got to Miami before you had success there?
I bring up times that I had. That's part of being the leader that I am, you know, bringing up the past, you know, that can help our team succeed in the future. You know, and you know, but it's also about, it's not about what you practice, you know, it's about what you preach as well. And you got to go out and do it. You know, you can talk it, but you got to walk it as well. And for me as a leader of this group, I come to work every single day, ready to get better. And you know, these guys just follow my lead. And it's always great to be around a group of guys that's willing to learn, that wants to learn, and get better.
Okay.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Got an update on the football game for us?
I have no idea what's going on. Are we winning?
It's 35-7 Cowboys. They came back. It's 21. It's 21.
Which I expect.
LeBron.
Meistari þetta.
Þá löngum degi lokið hérna í Madison Square Garden.
You can't do a stand-up right here.
Jæja, þá 2 nátta stoppið í New York búið. Æðislegu leikur í gær þar sem við horfðum á ótrúlegar endið sem Carmelo Anthony klikkaði á 3 skoti á síðustu sekúndunni og Kyrie Irving hefði skúbbað boltann á voni í sóknina áður. Gátum ekki beðið meira. Hefði verið þetta gaman að sjá LeBron sulla niður 50 í Madison Square Garden en það verður bara að bíða betri tíma. Það hrikalega gaman að koma á þessa leiki. Þetta náttúrulega bara ein stór kroppasýning eða hrútasýning og þessi skrokkar þeir eru ótrúlegir og íþróttamennskan þarna ótrúleg. Og að lokum viljum við bara þakka fyrir okkur. Þetta var gaman að þessu og vonum að við höfum náð okkur góð efni fyrir þá sem áhuga hafa á.